Did somebody say Drudge report? Okay, it was actually just me. In fact, I only just said it. It's also true that I have a massive appendage. We're talking at least centimetres here, so let's not screw around. This is the Drudge report for the 4th of June 2013. My name is Julius Reade, and I have no reservations for black people. In regards to slavery, obviously. According to the Daily Mail, Hillary Clinton had America's fashion elite in stitches last night during her hilarious speech at some sort of fashion award that I'm not at liberty to discuss. I would hate to promote the very industry that relies on image when I'm so intent on destroying it. Hillary made some jokes and apparently she was funny. That was difficult to tell if they were laughing at her or with her. White House cover-ups are not funny, and why anyone idolizes those who support fraud is beyond the read. Politics is full of corruption, drama, and the occasional dick joke. But sometimes things bear actual meaning. One of those individuals is Michael Froman, a longtime White House economic aide nominated to be President Obama's trade representative. The problem? He holds close to $500,000 in the Cayman Islands and received millions of dollars from Wall Street accounts that rely on a tax loophole the administration has sought to close. Not that self-interest cares to really regulate itself. When the state by principle takes wealth from the people, that's an abnormal sum of money you got there, buddy. Perhaps you should consider a donation to the show, and instead I could say something like, "Hey, what's the deal with aeroplane food?" I don't know, but let's ignore that Michael Froman guy. He seems nice. Yeah, good luck with that. You've got more chance getting me a girlfriend. Although in all fairness, a girlfriend is an acceptable replacement for a bribe. Turkey's Deputy Prime Minister offered an apology Tuesday for the government's violent crackdown on an environmental protest. Just because you receive a majority of the votes and call it democracy doesn't mean you can pretend to be an Islamic dictator and get away with it. For what used to be a secular nation has now become dirt. The people are angry and are here to stay. I suggest cutting down on the water cannons. They don't exactly create the best of impressions. The US Secretary of Health and Human Services says she doesn't want to intervene in transplant decisions about a dying Pennsylvania girl when other children are just as sick. In other words, 10-year-old Sarah Mernigan is not eligible for an adult lung transplant because so few pediatric lungs are available. Changing the law is predicted to add only just 20 children to the 1,600 adults currently on the waiting list. But really, who needs lungs when you can spend your final moments playing around with your new pair of double Ds? I say go out with a bang, not that most 10-year-olds can handle the money shot. I'm the first to admit that the economy is bad. Why do you think I'm doing this show? But for those with millions to spend, the times are taking their toll. The Hilton Midtown Hotel, the largest in New York, has decided to completely rid of its room service to customers. How will the people cope? Reportedly, 55 people will lose their jobs, which really isn't that surprising. In fact, let's increase the news value of this story by mentioning Paris Hilton's latest Twitter status. Oh my god, getting ready to catch a wave in Hawaii. #ServerChick. I feel sick already. In Japan, a new generation of L0 series bullet trains, which employ the latest magnetic leviation technology instead of conventional wheels, will begin commercial services in 2027. The trains are estimated to travel at 310 miles per hour, more than 100 miles per hour than the current average. Now, let's stop to think for a second about the Japanese porn potential. Tentacle rape will be revolutionized. Don't get me started on the Symbian. I'm sure we can work in some G-forces to keep the girl happy. Not that we want to kill her. A group of female Israeli soldiers have been disciplined after photographs of the scantily clad women holding their rifles appeared on Facebook. Wearing only combat vests and helmets, the Reade probably should be more sympathetic towards the Israelis. I'm not saying that I'm a sucker for sex appeal, but chuck in the threat of a nuclear war and an Arab uprising and we're talking a hot night of sex, baby. Oh, how I know absolutely nothing of how sex actually works. Does it come in a jar? Though the real question I should be asking is, how much per hour? If it's one thing I love more than living, it's paying taxes to do that very same function. President Obama's proposed Christmas tree tax, a 15-cent fee on every freshly cut Christmas tree, is being revived, and oh the joy of Christmas spirit. Take, take, take. I guess that's the American mantra. It's a real shame you could only afford your son a food stamp and a used sock, a far cry from the Xbox 360 he wanted. Though I'd work on getting a TV first. Electricity prices sure are a bitch. The deadly tornado that struck near Oklahoma City late last week had a record-breaking width of 2.6 miles and was the second top-of-the-scale EF5 twister to hit the area in less than 2 weeks, the National Weather Service reported Tuesday. Wowee! Talk about a big one. Yes, I know what you're thinking. Today marks the 24th anniversary for the Tiananmen Square incident, and boy do the Chinese know how to celebrate. Yes, by banning online search terms of the incident. Words including tomorrow, that year, special day, and many number combinations that could refer to the 4th of June, 1989. While they're at it, they should probably just ban the internet. Without a thriving Chinese porn industry, what hope and motivation is there for the communist worker? Already heavily criticised for targeting conservative groups, the Internal Revenue Service absorbed another blow Tuesday as new details emerged about senior officials enjoying luxury hotel rooms, free drinks and free food at a $4.1 million training conference. Tax dollars going towards something that we all agreed on, more for them and less for us. Not that I'm an American citizen, I'm just not fat enough. A number of Edmonds school kids were recently suspended for having Nerf guns at school. But hey, at least it wasn't a machete. Or worse, a rocket launcher. What if one of the kids had a fully automatic rifle? But no, they had Nerf guns. You idiot. Senator Kirsten Gillibrand on Tuesday said some military commanders can't distinguish between a slap on the ass and a rape. I too struggle with the concept, what with my skewed expectations of women. Sometimes I just flop it out in public because I think it's cool. Let's just hope I'm joking. 100 Jewish high school students travelling from New York to Atlanta were ejected from an AirTran flight after the pilot and crew lost patience with kids who wouldn't sit down and put their phones away. The typical response of, I think if it was a group of non-religious kids, the air stewardess wouldn't have dared to kick them off, doesn't quite work in the face of adversity. May I suggest shutting the hell up next time? I'm sure the Torah is a great text, but how about not giving a shit for a second? I like porn too, but you don't hear me talking about it left, right and centre. Then again, there's this show. In regards to the coming New Jersey elections, Governor Chris Christie said, I don't know what the cost is, and I quite frankly don't care. Of course, everything except holding accountable to the people and dieting. The fat slime is typical of a lying piece of crap, the bread and butter of the incompetent, power-hungry politician. I believe in being a good role model, not a hunk of lard. This has been the Drudge Report for the 4th of June 2013. My name is Julius Reade, and I'm by no means gay, but don't try and stop me.